Hey, welcome to Planet Hex. I'm Andrew Horn. This is a show where I talk about pop culture stuff, retro stuff, lots of VHS tapes. You know I like my VHS, hence me writing VHS Ate My Brain, the revised edition of which is out now. If you check out the links below this video, there are some links there where you can get hold of your own copy. And I'm really grateful to everyone that has checked it out so far. That is really, really good of you. So thank you very much for that. Today's video is something I've wanted to make for you for a long time. I wanted to talk about this for a long time on the channel. And I thought, now is the time. So this video is all about 10 things I miss about the VHS era. Now, everyone I talk to about like the book or the scene, or when I've been going to the straight to video 80s video shop, everyone that wants to talk about VHS always has those personal stories. They've always got a nostalgic link to times they shared with friends and family, hanging out in the video store and watching something together. And I want to bring all those things together in this video. So this is 10 things I do miss about the VHS era. Let's check it out. Something I really miss about the VHS era is the sense of community around it, where you would get friends or family around to watch a video together. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't happen in the age of Netflix and Prime and such like, but it does seem to happen a lot less. It wouldn't be an event to go around to someone's house and watch a movie. It doesn't seem like a thing that happens a great deal in society at the moment. And I do think that is a loss, because it would bring people together. You would laugh at the film if it was a comedy, or if it was terrible. You would have that shared experience, and it would build long-lasting relationships and friendships. And I do think that's kind of missing at the moment. So, shelf life is another thing. Films now do tend to feel a lot more disposable because of the sheer number of them being offered to you and the sheer number of services that they are available on. So you get all these things, they look amazing in the trailers, they look amazing in the banners on the front of the streaming services, but you watch it and then pretty much straight away they're gone from your consciousness. There's just so much we are being bombarded with so much content that even things we've seen we may forget exist. I mean, I bet if you have a look through the history of your accounts and streaming services, you see a bunch of things that you don't even remember seeing. And with the VHS era, you still had that tactile object in order to remember it by. Here we are in the streaming age, and immediacy is everything. You want everything on demand, you want it right now. I think that does work against a lot of things in some cases. There is less excitement for things, there's less build-up for things. Sure, you'll see trailers, you'll see shorts on Instagram or YouTube, or you'll see TikToks and things like that, but there's no real build-up, there's no real buzz around a lot of films now. They are increasingly seen as a temporary product, and that is a real shame, because a lot of these things cost a hell of a lot. They've got a lot of very talented people working on them, and the fact that they are seen then forgotten about and not really remembered again is such a shame. The immediacy, I think, works against things at the moment. With streaming media, everything is at your fingertips 24 hours a day, unless of course things vanish from Netflix and so on. That doesn't happen with physical media, to be honest, does it? Then if you did have the physical media and it did come off Netflix or whatever, you've got the immediacy of being able to watch what you want. But I do think there's something lacking. There's an excitement lacking, there's a buzz lacking that was very prevalent in previous eras. Something that was really exciting for me as a VHS fan right from the video rental era was checking out an entire series or a genre. Say, like here I've got pictured Puppet Master. I would go and watch all the Puppet Master movies. You know, you could binge those on tape. You could, not that you want to binge Chud 1 and 2, 1 maybe, but not 2. You could binge your favourite series, Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Hellraiser, whatever you wanted. I'm just giving horror examples there because that's my thing. But now you can watch a series, you can binge something, say all of the MCU movies on Disney+, but then you don't have the pleasure of collecting them and having them in a row in order. I did collect the MCU movies on DVD up to a point, but it just became so convoluted and so much of it that I gave up. I gave up with Endgame, and really that's where it should have ended personally. But you know, that's just me. You can't really follow a series very well on of movies on streaming services because they end up just becoming purely episodic, and with TV production values now being so good, they end up just looking like all the other TV that's out there, and that's a real shame. It's missing that event feeling of finding the next finding the next entry in a series that you're enjoying, or expanding your love and knowledge of a genre that you're into, such as horror or giallo or anime or anything like that, and seeing that collection grow. And I think that is a shame. Magazines are a big one for me because I loved hearing about how things were made, how things were being marketed and so on. I think it's absolutely fascinating to see how films come together, and that for me generated a huge buzz, a great big buzz of just excitement around the latest releases, even things that were like low budget stuff, say like Project Shadow Chaser or the next entry in the series of Nemesis movies or anything like that. It also gave you things like posters, and you had the classifieds in there where you could order merchandise. You could easily see the release dates, and you could get a buzz from it that way. You could really feel like you were a part of a scene by getting into these magazines and checking out all the stuff that was going on with them being made. Yep, the magazines are still around, but they are far lesser in their influence and their presence now, and I do think that's to some genres' detriment. I think sci-fi and horror, for example, there's a ton of stuff online. However, again, it is disposable content that once seen is often forgotten, and it can be edited retroactively. With the magazine, that's it, you've got it there. Also, movie posters now, with that you'd see in the magazines, they were either, you know, recreations of the movie posters themselves, or they were stills from the movies. In the example of Gore Zone that I've got up here, the posters were always stills, so there was stuff you wouldn't get in stores, and that is, I really miss the magazine aspect of it. Also, there were magazines in video stores such as Ritz Video, which is like a pre-Blockbuster chain here in the UK. They had their own upcoming releases magazine that was basically just like a magazine version of trailers, and I really loved that. Every time there was an issue, I would grab that and hungrily read up on everything that was coming out, be it sci-fi, action, horror, comedy, rom-com, anything. It was just all so exciting that this stuff was being made and being made available. I really miss that. Home tape compilations are a thing of beauty and are another big thing I miss dearly from the VHS era. They capture personalities, they capture people that may not be here anymore. Say, granddad or someone like that had a fondness for Columbo or the A-Team or a certain game show, and had recorded endless episodes of these on these tapes. You've captured not just like a photograph of that person, but you've captured something that person did in putting those home tape compilations together. And I love doing those. I did them of sci-fi shows, I did them of sitcoms, I did them of music videos and all kinds of things. And it does really capture a moment in someone's life where they were enthusiastic about this stuff. And that's a really nice thing to own. Say if someone has passed away, you could hold this tape, and in there is something that they collated and they spent hours putting together. You've got a little piece of that person there, and that's amazing. And yeah, the home tape compilations of mine that I've still got, they're a real look at where I was at a certain point in my life, and that's a really fascinating thing to revisit and see all the nonsense I watched. See, I watch a lot of nonsense now, but it's nice to know where the origins of that came from. One major aspect of things being recorded on VHS tapes throughout the years is historical moments being captured, be it a news story, be it a big moment in someone's life, be it a momentous sports game, be it, you know, strange live occurrences on TV shows like the Max Headroom incident over in the States, or just little strange things that happen through the years. If no one recorded them on videotape, they would be lost. A lot of TV companies don't even keep their content anymore, and that's a real shame, because they are losing historical artifacts there. You are losing history as it happened. If you accidentally left the tape running, say if you just recorded something like Coronation Street or EastEnders and left the tape running and it went over the news and something happened live, then you've captured that forever, and you've captured it for future generations. It's not just something that you've accidentally recorded on a tape. Keep hold of that tape, and you have an actual historical document there right with you. I mean, who can forget? For me, one of the big moments I remember as I was a teenager, and I remember Lady Diana dying, Princess Di dying, and that was a huge news story. And I remember that being all over the news, and people had recorded the announcements of it happening by accident after recording some stuff overnight. So it happened in like the middle of the night, and it was announced in the middle of the night. And you know, you got the rolling news stuff come up over the bottom of things that people were recording in the night. So movies and music shows and things have those little bands of news popping up. I'm sure it's the same all over the world. Home recorded tapes have captured history literally as it happened. Absolutely, one of the big ones has to be cover art. I've got my favourite example up here. Oh, there, Video Dead. By far my favourite VHS covering of all time. That's the double-sided one. It had a slightly less cool image on the other side, but that's the one that everyone loves and everyone remembers. It's a great thing. VHS cover art has been unsurpassed in the eras that has followed. We are now in a world largely of photoshopped nonsense, just headshots and a logo. That doesn't work. I miss the days where it was art, the likes of which you would see people like Drew Struzan do. There has been a movement towards some of these posters being more stylized in recent times, and there's a big market for retro posters that are in a more retro stylized style. But at the moment there are so many posters. Even going back to Avengers Endgame, the main poster for that was a load of heads. It wasn't exciting, it wasn't dynamic, it was just kind of there. And the fact that with video stores, the covers were often every bit of advertising a movie would have. So you would see these rows of covers. You would see the Video Dead, Neon Maniacs, Trick or Treat. Hell, go further back, you would see Cannibal Holocaust and go, my God, what the hell is that? And it would draw your attention far more than current art styles in movie posters and indeed covers and stuff like that. I mean, we're going to get to a point where they're just being made for online banners for streaming services, and that's not ideal because they're just looking more and more identical. I know I sound like a grumpy old man when I say that, but these things are looking really, really samey. Employ actual artists. Get some really good ideas in there. I'm sure there are people that just work digitally that are amazing at composition. Don't just put out something that's mediocre. Put out something that will draw the eye. Basically, put out the Video Dead. Now, a major one for me is privacy. Privacy is something that has been largely done away with in the age of streaming services. Yeah, I spend a lot of time on YouTube, and I know that my YouTube history has a load of bizarre things in it. Also weird music videos and adverts, compilations of old adverts, and stuff I didn't mean to see, some stuff that came up in, you know, shorts and things like that, and that's just YouTube. So everything you watch is tracked, everything you watch is logged in your watch history, in your account history, so that more things can be advertised to you in order to elongate your membership of these streaming services that we all have too many of. The sheer proliferation of things out there, they have to be segmented. They had to be advertised at people that will be interested in them. Now that's not always ideal because I watch a lot of horror movies. I watch a lot of things that are very definitely rated 18, but I also have 2 young children, and I don't want these things to pop up in the like continue watching or watch next. Say, you know, if they want to watch some anime, they want to watch some Dragon Ball or something like that. I don't want the next thing for them to see would be like Night Train Murders or Torso. You know, it's not appropriate, and I want to carry on being a good father, a good parent, and not exposing them to things that they are far too young to be aware of at this present time. And I don't like targeted advertising. It doesn't sit well with me. In the VHS era, you put a tape in, you watch it. No one can see where you got up to with that film, whether you finished it or not. No one can see what you've rented. You could be a big hardcore dude covered in muscles and tattoos and just watch Bambi on a loop, and no one would know, no one would care. Now, all the companies that you're giving money to each month, they know what you've been watching. They know exactly what you've been watching. And unless you go through and dig through your account and edit your watch history, then that's there for a good long time. And that doesn't sit well with me. I don't like being observed while I'm supposed to be being entertained. Now, the main thing I miss about the VHS era has to be video stores. I loved video stores. I loved spending hours in them, hours and hours and hours, browsing, considering what would go well with what, trying to pick a good double bill for the night, or trying to pick a new release from downstairs at Metro Video and then going upstairs into the room of cheap stuff and finding something that I would enjoy there. And you've got to find 2 movies for £1, and you've got to pick 2 that go together, or 2 that at least you've not seen, and you know, you've got to plan your evening out based on your sort of mood. And video stores were a great hub. You would run into friends there. You would make friends there. I've made friends in video stores. You could hang out with the people that work there. You could say, when you've done with that poster or that standee or that one there, could you put my name on that, and I'll come and get that when you're done with it. So when the new release status of a movie had passed, they would take the stuff down and it would be given to the customers. Or, you know, a lot of places would just have a box of them at the side of the counter, you know, 10p a go or anything like that, and you could just buy what you wanted. And I miss that. I miss that sort of that atmosphere of just camaraderie. It was a really cool place to hang out, and I really spent a heck of a lot of time in these. The picture I use here is the 80s video shop in Alfreton, because it's a place that I think recreates that let's hang out for a while feeling really well. But it is a really close recreation of an 80s video shop and 90s video shop. There's a lot of 90s gear in there as well. But I really miss that the ability to go somewhere that was for entertainment, to go into a place that was solely for the purpose of renting you movies, games, comedies, cartoons, and of course picking up some snacks. It was an all-in-one brilliant evening in, and I really miss those places. So to the people such as Straight to Video, the 80s Video Shop, and people around the country that are doing these things, and having a little retro space that keeps these things going and keeps the awareness there, absolute respect to you. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I miss video stores most of all. That was my 10 things I miss about the VHS era. Thank you very much for watching. I do really appreciate it. If you want to support the channel, you can check out the book at the links below. You can also like and subscribe and share, and leave a comment below. What was your own VHS memory? What do you miss about the VHS era? Because I'm sure there's lots of people out there that do have similar stories and similar experiences where they miss this stuff. I am getting really nostalgic for more analog ways of life, just because of the sheer pace of life at the moment. So it's nice to revisit these things and enjoy them anew. So I'm Andrew Horn. Thank you very much for joining me for this episode of Planet Hex. Hey, just before I go, it has occurred to me today that it's 3 years to the day that I started putting episodes of stuff on this channel. So originally it used to be the usual sort of channel where you would just upload random things from your phone, things for the family, that sort of thing. I made all those private, and I started putting out original content. My first one was Turn 1 Shock, which was my Magic the Gathering show, which ran for like 24 episodes before I started doing Planet Hex, which is this one, this is my home on the internet. This is where I get to just enjoy being the weird little oddball that I am, and I'm really grateful to everyone that's joined me on this journey so far. Yeah, I'm not a big channel, I don't mind that, that's fine. I'm just really enjoying making this content for you guys. It's really nice to be able to find like-minded individuals out there that like the same sort of weird stuff that I do. Old movies, old comics, you know, toy hunting on eBay and Facebook Marketplace and things like that. It's just a really nice thing to be able to do. Yeah, I'm one of those many channels that started during lockdown. Yeah, totally am. And that's fine by me. I needed the outlet. I needed the outlet when I started this channel. I needed something to keep me occupied during lockdown, during the pandemic, and it just grew from there. I've really enjoyed doing this so far, and long may it continue. There's loads to come. I've got some more events coming up. I'm going to the Nottingham Video Game Expo on Saturday this week, taking the kids there. I'm going to be filming there as well, so look out for some footage from that. There's loads more to come from this channel, and lots more that I've not really spoken about yet. I'm going to try some different things with the channel in coming months. I hope you enjoy them. There's a documentary coming, Dream Double Bills, all about putting together great double bills, that sort of thing. So I hope you enjoy what's to come. And once again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much for joining me watching Planet Hex. It really does mean the world to me. I do this as a labour of love. I'm not sponsored. I don't do it for money or anything like that. I just do it because I enjoy putting these things out and just talking nonsense with you guys. So thank you very much for joining me for this episode, past episodes and future episodes of Planet Hex.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and validate my existence.